Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and if you haven't guessed already, I've been on eBay again. As many of you know, I rather like industrial and like military computers and things like that. So I'm always keeping my eye out on eBay if anything comes up which is of a reasonable price. And I've got one. I actually picked this up at quite a fair price for what it is. Because people are usually asking, you know, a few £100 for systems like this. Not that they're kind of worth that amount of money, but that's what people are asking for them online. This actually came from We Charity, the same place I got my Amstrad PC 286. Basically, it's a charity not that far away from me. It's up in Warrington. And they recycle, you know, computers and do data destruction and stuff like that. And every now and again they'll have something interesting come through their place, and they sell off stuff like that, you know, to enthusiasts on a, you know, spares or repair parts only kind of basis, but usually at quite a reasonable price. And they're one of these companies that actually, if you put a fair offer in for something, generally speaking, unless you're being silly with your offer, they will accept it. That's the case with this. Actually, I've been monitoring this on eBay since it came on for a couple of months, and I think it started at something like 300 quid. And then slowly it started coming down, and then I saw it on there at £100 our offers, so I put a fairly cheeky offer in for it. I wasn't actually expecting it to be accepted, because it was a little bit on the cheeky side, but they accepted my offer on it, so here it is. We'll get this box open and we can have a look what I've got. The packaging is usually fairly good at this place as well, so well, if this thing's got damaged in transit, it wasn't fit for purpose, put it that way. Right, lovely. Little bit of a big box for what's in here, but and it's heavy. There we go. We'll get that out of the way. I'll tell you what, whenever I buy stuff from there, I never ever have to buy bubble wrap. In fact, I've not had to buy bubble wrap in many years now. Right. Where is our in? Ah, there we are. I think that's the start of it there. There we go. Right. I think we are in. Ooh. Yes, we're in. Righty-ho. Right, we'll just cut through this because it'll make life a little bit easier. There we go, we're in. Oh god, and that is heavy. That is very heavy for, well, I won't call this a laptop because it's not. This is a portable computer. Ooh. There we go. Wow, that's heavy. But what we've got here, this is a European Data Systems XL1. And this is a militarised portable computer. Check that out. Let me see if I can just get that picture up a little bit like that. There we go. And I believe these were used for like data communications and for the radio systems. It's about 25 years old. These were made in the very, very late 90s, I believe. I think the first ones of these came out around about 95-ish. I think they were 486 based. This is a slightly later one, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think. This one comes from about 1999, and I think it's a Pentium 2, or it's like a P200 MMX, something around, very much like the Fieldworks military laptop that I've got, which sadly has got some major issues on the main board. But it's round about the same kind of age, only this thing is seriously more heavy duty. Apparently, I believe the whole reason why this is so amazingly heavy duty, this thing is completely shielded. As in, I can't remember the name of the system, but essentially these computers cannot be scanned externally. The military were always worried about people being able to basically sniff the RF emissions from a computer. Actually, you know, the processor switching and things like that all creates a little bit of RF energy. With very, very, very sensitive equipment, that can be picked up. And I think the worry was that, you know, if you can pick that information up, you can decode it and actually see what the computer's doing. So obviously, you know, that would compromise the systems. This is built in such a way that it emits absolutely no RF whatsoever. You can't scan the computer at all. That's why it's so like ridiculously heavy duty. I believe they were used in like the 110 military Land Rovers, FFRs, which is the military designation for fitted for radio Land Rovers and other, you know, communications vehicles basically. Was it the Dutch army or one of the European armies specifically used this laptop in like I said, military 110 Land Rovers. I'm pretty sure our military also did the same. Oh, let's turn it over and have a look at the back. Now, right at the back you can kind of indicate that this thing is not a standard laptop computer. We've got 24 volt DC, sorry, 24 to 32 volt DC in there. That will be for vehicle power. So literally, you could power it off, like say your Land Rover. Military Land Rovers and other military vehicles all use a 24 volt DC system in them rather than the 12 volt on most conventional vehicles. It also has mains in there, AC in 200 to 265 volts, 3 amps. We've got a weird military connector there, which I very much doubt I'm going to be able to find a lead for. But at least we can probably get some power into it that way. I don't think we're going to be trying to power it in this video, although we'll see how far we get with this thing. Even getting into it's going to be fun because, like I said, this thing is, I presume it's all aluminium and magnesium or something like that. It is very substantial. Then on the back we've got these plates over them. Let me get you zoomed in a little. In fact, let me find something I can prop that up with. Because it's making my arm hurt holding it like that. Right, let me get you zoomed in a little bit on the back of it so you can see the back a little clearer. There we go. So as I've said, and we've got trip switches on both of them as well. Thermal cutouts there for power overload on both the DC, 24 volt DC input and on the mains input there. Coming over onto this side, we've got a keyboard connector there. Non-standard, we've got a 9-pin DIN. I'm guessing it's probably standard AT behind the fancy connector. We'll find that out, or PS2 or something. Then we've got some COM ports, which I'm hoping, if I unscrew this, we've got the standard, yeah we have. So we've got the standard 9-pin COM ports. There, so COM1, COM2. Got a standard parallel port. I'll put all these back on after. I think that's standard parallel. Yeah, and a standard VGA output there. And then we've got, which is really nice, that's external SCSI. So this thing's basically got a SCSI card built into it, which might be quite nice, because the one thing this is missing, and for obvious reasons, it doesn't have its hard drive. So these were used for kind of secret stuff, you know, anything on that hard drive is probably still classified. So the hard drive has been completely removed in it, and unfortunately with the hard drive going, so has the caddy. So we are going to have to do something to try and get a hard drive in it. At the absolute worst, there's probably a chance we can use as an external SCSI drive to actually do something with it. On the front there, we've got where the hard drive would have gone. It's a actually 2.5 inch caddy there. So I'm guessing that will be SCSI as well. We've got a 3.5 inch floppy there. Nicely, we've got PCMCIA. Got there in the end. Slots there, 2 of them, I think. Is it 1 or 2? Oh, I think we've only got 1. And really interesting, which I've not seen before, we've got a time-lapse counter there that tells you how long the computer's actually run for. That's it, it's Tempest. That's the system I was trying to remember, Tempest. As we see here, it says, do not operate the computer with its door open. Doing so will allow dust and moisture to enter and will compromise the EMC/Tempest integrity. That's what I was saying about this thing, that basically when all these are sealed up and it's running, it emits absolutely no RF whatsoever. Well, nothing that can actually be picked up anyway. And these have got nice little locks to secure it in place. This thing is rather cool. I've got something else on the side here. Got a little door. I wonder if this is the battery compartment, maybe. I don't know if it's got the battery in there. Let's have a squiz and have a look. Now the battery is missing. That's probably a good thing. We've got oh right, that's cool. Right, so yeah, that's where the battery would have gone. The battery is missing. We've just got the connector for it there. But what we have got is we've got a AT keyboard connector there, and we've got a PS2 mouse connector there, so we can plug it into external keyboard and mouse. We also have the same, I don't know if you can make that out, but on here we have the same warning that operating it with that panel removes, obviously lets moisture and dust into the laptop. It also compromises the EMC Tempest integrity. So they was pushing that as quite a big thing. And so if you think what this was originally used for, then it was quite a you know, a thing you didn't want anyone with the potential to be able to snoop on what the laptop was doing. Just lock these all in place. You can see the big wings there where it would have been locked down into a vehicle. Those are basically mounts, so it could actually literally be bolted down into the vehicle it was being used in, if it was being used in that configuration. No, we've got no other ports or anything on it. I think the slightly later version of this actually had a built-in CD-ROM drive. This one obviously, like I say, is probably slightly earlier than that, but yeah, I don't think it's the earliest version. I could be wrong. We have a built-in trackball there, and a really nice keyboard, and I believe this keyboard is actually removable. Yes, it is. So check that out. So the keyboard can actually, you know, come away from the laptop, and like I said, I think that is probably AT standard in there actually. So I could perhaps make an adapter up and be able to use that on a another computer if I so wanted. Although it will also have the data for that trackball going down that cable as well. So we'd have to do a fair bit of work to break them out to something we could use. We've got 3 mouse buttons. Yeah, we've got mouse 1, mouse 2 and mouse 3 there. Well, M1, M2, M3. The keyboard looks nice, but oh, that is horrible. That is like the most... I wonder if that's been done, because there's a good chance you've been operating this with gloves on. There is no tactile feedback really to that keyboard. It feels really spongy and not inviting to type on really. And that just locks back in there like that. Ooh. Let's have another quick look on the back. So, I mean, even trying to get in this thing looks like it's going to be incredibly daunting. It's got a foot missing there, but that's not the end of the world. I'm sure we can do something about that. And it's a little bit dented there. It's had a little bit of a bash on this. Must have gone down with some force on that side, but it doesn't look too bad. The biggest thing is trying to figure out how we can get some power into it. So I certainly don't have that connector. In fact, bear with me a second, folks. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me have a bit of a think and see if I can figure out a way of getting some power into this one way or the other. And we'll perhaps see if we can at least get this to fire up. So back in a sec. Right, okay, we're back. I did try getting that panel on the back off, see if I could get straight to where the mains connects, but I think I'm going to have to disassemble the entire laptop to get that far. So what I've tried, I've got my little bench supply here. Now it's not powerful enough, but I've got that connected up to that battery connector on the side there. Now I switch the power supply on. Now it hasn't got enough power to actually run the laptop, but if you can see, we've got DC good, low battery obviously, and it's actually trying to fire the screen up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a rummage round in my stuff, and I'm going to see if I can find like a 12 volt 3 amp power supply, and I'm going to just try connecting that up, same as I've got it here, and just see if we can if we give it a little bit more current. But only 12 volts, I think that's what the battery probably runs at in here. I think that battery is really just a kind of like a backup battery. I don't think you're meant to be able to run the laptop for an extended period of time from it. I think it's there that, you know, your power's failed in your vehicle, you've no power in the vehicle, you've no mains or anything, it's got enough energy probably to allow you to do either what you was doing or just shut down safely or something like that. But it should be good enough to see if we can initially get some kind of life out of this. So let me see if I can rummage up a 12 volt power supply that's got a little bit more. In fact, we could use an my AT supply up there. That'd be perfect, because if it's a dead short, that's got a current limiter on it. Just bear with me a second, I'll dig that out and we'll try and set that up and see if we can get that to run it. So back in a sec. Right, okay, we're back. Now, I did try that AT power supply to run this thing, and I got nothing. I didn't even get any activity at all. And I think this thing actually it probably is 24 volts that the battery is. I did say it might be 12, but it probably actually is 24 volts. If I connect a supply like my variable bench supply there, and I go just over 12 volts, like 12.5 volts, some 13 volts, something like that, It comes up DC good. Basically everything on there works. But like I say, that power supply won't deliver the current this thing needs to run, because it's saying it needs about 3 amps according to what it's telling me on the back there. That AT supply I've got, it's a good supply, it's nice and stable, but the 12 volt output on it is actually just under 12 volts. I found another power supply from like an old TV that give out 12 volts, but again, all that did was show me the low battery there. It wouldn't actually go any further. I had to rummage around again, and I found one that gives out about 16 volts. I think it's off an old IBM laptop or something like that. And if I connect that one up, I'll just do that now. We have something. If I connect that up there, as you can see, we've got power good come up. Low battery is still showing, obviously, because I'm guessing it's wanting, like I said, a little bit more there, but it seems to be enough to actually get the thing to power up. Got a power light on there. The backlight is now lit on the screen, as where before it was pulsing because it didn't have the power to actually initialize the backlight. So the backlight's actually running on the screen there now. But that's it. This is as far as I've been able to get to this thing. I've been having a little bit of a play around, but yeah, essentially it seems to be dead at that. So we've got backlights running. Obviously we've got our power to the thing. On the keyboard, oh, now that is actually responding now. So we've got a mouse lock button there. Some of these buttons, caps lock was on before, caps lock's off now. That's not doing anything. Mouse lock's on. And when I was messing about with them buttons before, num lock and scroll lock come on, but I couldn't get them to do anything. When I pressed them before, num lock actually did come on and go off when I pressed between them buttons. So there's some activity. In fact, let me try with the power at the back here. I don't, because I think that's on the on position. Right, where's that switch gone? There it is. Yeah, so that's off. I can switch on. Yeah, we've got caps lock, mouse lock, num lock and scroll lock are lit up. But it's pretty much froze there. And again, yeah, if I'm pressing them now, it's just locked up with everything on. So we've got work to do on this computer. I wasn't expecting it just to fire up and work. I mean, it could have been destroyed inside. You never know what they did to these things when they decommissioned them. But even if it's completely totaled inside, what a cool computer to build like a little gaming rig into, you know, to take places. It'd be awesome. I mean, I know it's not got the biggest screen in the world. What's that, about 10-inch or something like that? I'm sure even if I couldn't interface with that screen, I can get something in there that's going to look right. There's plenty of room in there to build a more modern, perhaps, system in there. You never know. Actually, I've got so many possibilities with this thing. It just looks so cool. I really, really like this, like, industrial and militarized computing hardware. I just think it's got something about it. I will switch off there for now, just in case we are damaging something by running it. But yeah, this is going to be an up and coming project to see if we can get this thing up and running. I hope I'm going to have more luck with this than I did with the Fieldworks laptop, which I think we used in the original Hummers and some Chieftain tanks and things like that. A similar kind of idea, but just nowhere near as ruggedized as this thing is. This thing is like, you know, you could easily win a battle just by beating people over the head with it. It's seriously solid. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I say, this wasn't going to be a repair video, I think. It was just a quick, it came in the post this morning and I thought I'd do a quick show and tell on it. So this is my European Data Systems LX1 militarised portable computer. Like I say, I hope you enjoyed having a quick little first look at that, and we certainly will be getting back to it and seeing if we can actually get this thing into working order. So I'll say I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching and goodbye.